This has been a topic of conversation, and Bump, this is what I'm throwing your way. I do find myself of two minds with this because this is where I see the fan base split. This is me kind of paraphrasing what I'm seeing, not how I feel. If you want me to show up, then you got to win. On the flip side, you show up no matter what. What do you think?
I think both are right. If you want fans to commit to supporting you, you got to put out a product that they must see. They have to wake up on a Sunday and say to themselves, honey, we're going to the game. No, they're saying it on a Tuesday. They're setting up traveling, hotels. How are we going to get there? Who are we going to sit with? Are we going to tailgate? You have to make it an event, something that you want to see. And it seems like, I guess, that from that angle, that's something that the Hawks aren't doing, obviously, when you are 4-4 and you're losing games at home. Then you look at the side. If you are a true fan of your team, you support them no matter what. I supported my Lakers when we were so garbage. Them years where Kobe was going off, we were garbage. In the 90s when we were garbage, and then in the teens when we were garbage as well, you support them no matter what. There's also the angle that it is expensive as heck just to attend a football game. I looked at there's a new QR code or something that you can flash when you walk through the stadium, and there are places where you can get a hot dog for cheap, a beer for cheap, but for the most part, it's expensive to go to a football game. I understand that, but I also think that fans have an obligation. I have some older buddies, right? Moonshine Barbecue, we're all old homies hang out. And they always talk about the new Seahawk fans. They call them the 12, something I can't say on the radio.
Oh, no.
Okay? Rhymes with swoosh. Okay? They call them the 12.
Oh, okay.
And I go, what are you talking about? They said, well, before 2010, 11, 12, there were a certain type of Seahawks fan that were going to show up no matter what. And we knew those teams weren't going to be good. They're like, Bump, you played on one of those bad teams. We still showed up.
You have 4 wins.
4 wins.
4 wins.
And I look back at my playing days, and I put myself back in the stadium, and, yeah, there were sprinkles of other teams, fans in there, but it wasn't like the way it is now. So I think there's a combination of things. Culturally, things might be changing over here to where people prefer to watch the game at home and try to profit off of those tickets. It might be that the tickets just cost way too much, and just going to a game is expensive, which it is. My kids go to 1 or 2 games a year, and it is expensive. And there's a product that you're seeing on the football field that doesn't get the people excited to go to a game. Me personally, the way that I move, if you are my team, I'm going to support you no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, whether you're good or bad, whether you have guys on the team that I know or don't know. If you wear the jersey, I'm going to support you. LeBron, a perfect example. I did not like LeBron. I appreciate him as a person and as a basketball player, but the Kobe in me does not allow me to embrace LeBron. But he's wearing my uniform now, so I got to show him some support. There's a lot of things that could be factored in here.
253, I'm a sideline cameraman for the Seahawks. I've worked the game for 15 years. Sunday was super loud in the beginning. The Hawks have to give them something to cheer for. It's not that weird. The Bills haven't been here for 8 years. It was a big deal for Bills fans to head here. Yes, but that's also been the case forever. You know what I mean? Anytime you have these like divisional matchups where it's like every 4 years, you know, like you'll play them at home and then 4 years later they'll play you on the road. That's always been the case. This isn't the first time that a fan base had a chance to come to Seattle to watch their team after not being here for 8 years. This happens every single year.
Yeah.
But this is a Seahawks team that is now a decade removed from a Super Bowl. They have not been really dominant for years now. Even though they've been consistently in it, they have just been kind of middling and kind of average and, you know, kind of like plucky once in a while.
Yeah.
And so I think that just what we're seeing is what comes when your team isn't very dominant. You have some fair weather fans. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some fans that are going to go no matter what, and then you have other fans that are going to say, and I know because I have friends that have said this to me, I don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars if my team's going to lose.
Here's an angle, too. The Hawks don't have a must-see type quarterback. If you have a face in the league, Russell Wilson was a face in the league. When you do these, they did these NFL promos, and they're pubbing up this matchup and that matchup, or maybe just the league in general, they would flash a Russell Wilson out there because he was putting up some crazy numbers and was one of the faces in the league. Geno's not a face of the league. I think we appreciate him. I think most of us realize that he is a good quarterback, but he wasn't. He hasn't been doing this for 10 years and has his track record of winning, and people love him like that. I think regionally you do, but nationally he doesn't require the attention that Russell Wilson did. The player that gets the most attention is a receiver. And whenever a receiver is the highlight of your football team, you're not going to get pubbed that way unless you are Justin Jefferson, arguably the best in the game, or Tyreek Hill. There's only 2 or 3 receivers that are going to get the type of attention that a quarterback might get. And even then, they're not getting the same attention as Lamar, as a Josh, as a Pat or whatnot. So I think that plays into it as well. You don't have that shiny new quarterback that's been around for a while or that you just drafted that will make people want to come and see what he's doing.
From the 253, if you already bought in before the ride started and then you went off midway, to censor myself, forget you. I hope you lose all your season ticket money. I mean, I do think there's a lot of fans that say, like, I'm tired of this. Like, don't just like back out when your team is losing. The entire point of not being a bandwagon or fair weather fan is that you show up when your team is probably going to lose just to root them on. I tend to kind of be in that group where I'm like, you can't get mad if someone calls you fair weather if you don't show up. If you don't watch the game when your team is losing, if you don't go to games, if you don't care about your team at all when they're losing, you're a fair weather fan. Just admit it. Accept who you are. I've accepted a lot of things about myself over time. Just accept that that's who you are. And that's fine. You know, like if that's who you are, that's okay. I do find myself talking out of both sides of my mouth because there is another part of me that goes, I really think that if the Seahawks won, they wouldn't have to worry as much about fans being like, yeah, I just, it's hard for me to show up. And you wouldn't have to worry, Mike McDonald points this out, about visiting fans buying tickets in droves because they know their team is going to win.
Well, we have to win. We got to win, period. So, opposing fans won't want to show up if we're consistently kicking butt and doing what we're supposed to do. And our fans, I think, are doing a great job. And they're sticking with us all the way through the end of the game. And I know we're fighting and they're fighting with us. And we have to do a better job of putting a product out there that they want to root really hard for.
We have to do a better job of putting a product out there they want to root really hard for. I can judge a fair weather fan all I want, Bump, but ultimately he's right.
It's their choice. We can sit here and make them feel bad for not supporting their team, but we also can't tell people how to spend their money. You don't want to go to a game where a team has a greater chance of losing than winning. Then I can understand that that's just not the way that I live my life. 253 says, I talked to Bills fans around me, and they felt confident they will win. They said they wouldn't have came if they thought they would lose.
Exactly.
There you go. Teams are supporters of teams that are out of this market, out of this region, will travel if you think they're going to win. You know why there were a bunch of Cougs at that San Diego State game this past weekend? Because we felt we were going to win. And in San Diego, we're trying to get out of this cold, too. But you felt you were going to win. If the Cougs were not winning, they're still going to have fans travel and support them, but not at the numbers that I saw when I'm looking at social media. Winning cures everything. Winning puts fans in the seats. Winning helps support the team financially. If you win, they will show up. So there's
if you build it, they will come.
They will come. So there's an aspect of that I understand.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that's the way that I would move.
Yeah. I really do find that it's so easy to make a case for either side. And if you're wondering ultimately, like, what do the Seahawks think? What does Mike McDonald think? It's that. And maybe that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Mike McDonald saying, we got to win. And then we won't have to worry about Bills fans showing up because they think they will. So I guess handle your business.